Like right here, Dan, I wanted to go, ooh.
That's okay. We can do that.
If I could sing, I'd sing everything.
Well, go ahead and sing, man. Get it going. Okay, let's get this started. So how's it going, Tank? I'm Dan Lutz, and Stefan Rowe is here. We're here with Dank Live, and we're doing another broad. This is our 128th broadcast straight in a row, and we're hard at it, making a difference for this world to know what's going on behind the scenes of the financial system and the GCR. And I hear super soldiers also.
Yes, look, I'll let everybody know right now. You're going to want to go check out the Speak Project, speakproradio.com here in the next couple days. We'll put it up. But we started a series today with one of the MK Ultra super soldiers, and it's a woman, which I haven't heard of an actual MK Ultra super soldier who's a woman, because they expected her to be a boy when she was born. So they put her through all the same protocols as they would a man or a boy, a child, right? And she gives details directly from the military reports, from the inception of her birth, like even before she was born, injecting her with LSD and opioids in the womb, to raping her the second she was born, to uh, immediately throwing her in ice cold water. Um, all these different things that they did to torture her, and then keeping her for 3.5 years. Her parents were both royal bloodline Illuminati. Um, just incredible, detailed stuff that you may not have never heard. Um, and she goes in depth about it, right? And she's evolved as much as anyone possibly could. She spent a life of isolation basically, but really incredible. And then I got the chance to out the CIA for what I believe they were trying to do, which is to basically explain how she gets triggered, right? And there's all these different ways that she could get triggered, and she doesn't know what they are. Now, if they trigger her and give her instructions, right, they could easily think that they got my guard down. I let her get close, and then they say, take out Tank, right? They give her instructions, right? She gets close to me and then kills me, and then she has no memory of it, right? So they're completely, their hands are clean. So we actually get that far where she says, yes, that could definitely happen. So it's pretty incredible talking to her. Amazing conversation. We filmed 2 shows today with her, and we're going to keep doing them until we get every possible piece of it out of her. And then I'm going to completely disrupt the CIA program and show her how to. I'm working on it now already, and I'm going to show her how to deprogram herself so they can't trigger her anymore.
Amazing.
How about that? Yeah, I'm excited.
That's amazing. Well, so how can you go into that? How does that happen, or you need to do it later?
Well, I mean, basically, what happens with them is they get them caught, right, where they can get out of, they can get into the place in the 4th dimension where they can imagine and really manifest things, right? But the power of overcoming that is to elevate your frequency, or match the frequency of the 5th dimension. And when you're able to do that, you're no longer affected by their triggers. You're out of their trance.
Yeah.
You're above them.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess what they do in this programming is keep people locked into um, a a prison of the third dimension
Right.
or fourth,
And
or third,
and
fourth.
there's actually ways with frequency devices actually to deprogram that. But here's the catch. That one of the triggers, right, which would cause her to kill somebody, right? Because she's a lethal weapon, right? She's been on many missions, and she's a lethal weapon. But when she's trained to kill in one shot, right? Like like death blows and different pressure points, things like that, right?
Hmm.
So she would actually be trained that if someone were to try to adjust her frequency in a way to deprogram these other things, it would trigger her to respond as if someone's trying to kill her and thus would kill them. Imagine that. So it's a touchy area is my point. It's a touchy
Yeah, so
area.
do it from a distance.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that is very touchy. Well, that's fantastic. I'd like to tune into that and hear more. Any other interesting news from Kim, or are we still in a blackout?
I have nothing from Kim. The only thing I've heard through whispers is to look out for Deutsche Bank and watch what happens with them.
Ah, that's interesting. Well, they've been teetering, right, but the on 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 falling apart. But if they go, so does the German system. And well, I mean, it would kind of also go along with Brexit, and Italy trying to basically make their own currency. Every Everyone's positioning themselves to move out, but Deutsche Bank is very much tied into the existing system.
Right.
They literally take everything down.
Yep. So I mean we're about to see the week after this a lot of really heavy stuff went down, right? I mean Tucker Carlson, right, had the alien discussion with Trump and he couldn't talk about it, but hey,
Well,
now today.
on that, I watched it a couple times, and even what Tucker talks about is not shown in the interview.
Right,
And
yeah.
yeah, and then there was someone from Fox that was there during some of the crew. Someone saying that he asked these questions and this is what was said, and Trump was kind of more alluding to things that Tucker actually spoke about, but wasn't in the interview as they showed it. They kind of showed it like Trump just didn't believe it. That's and if you watch Tucker's interview, Trump was like, "Oh, I don't really believe in it." So, but it's kind of opposite. So I don't know because I watched it twice and said, "Yeah, he's not confirming anything." But Tucker in speaking about it is saying that like it was like kind of in between, and he was well. Tucker says he was brought in on it. He was given an update on it, right? So why would they be giving him an update if there's nothing if there's nothing there? What's there to update him about?
Right, right. I know exactly why bring it up. Right.
Why bring it up? Yeah. Oh yeah, those crazy UFO guys. They keep talking about that Roswell stuff. Just like it's nothing there. Why even bring it up? They've got so many things to cover. But it's interesting that Tucker brings it up while in Asia, right? And then we go right into 4th of July, and we have flying triangles spotted there.
Yeah,
While
pretty amazing.
while we're showing everything off, right? Everything's being shown off. So it's been interesting.
And I mean, Trump launched like a space defense program, right?
Yeah, the whole space force. Yeah. Well, he
Yeah,
says we're going to go back to the moon, and we're going to put a man on Mars.
yeah, pretty amazing.
We're,
Because
but
that would
we're
have to advance. You'd have to advance all technology based on what we know so much that there'd be no reason to travel to Mars unless you had already, advanced physics enough that you could actually, beam someone there.
Well, I mean, I saw the images from Mars that actually showed a base already in operation, road, satellite dish, all this stuff. It's there. These are files downloaded from NASA,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
right. So yeah, it's already there. We're already there, or we meaning humans are already there, and we have bases. So this is it's kind of like a very strange, like he's coming out and say, yeah, we're gonna put a man on Mars. We're gonna say another man on Mars.
Well, I mean, I've talked to at least 3 different soldiers who've been to Mars, so there's no question that that's real. I've actually seen them in their jumpsuit, ready to go.
Yeah. Well, why didn't you go with them?
I wasn't there with them. I mean,
Stow away,
yeah.
get
So
get there. Well, there's so much looking like that it's about ready to break. So I hope that we're able to get through this and get full disclosure, not partial disclosure, which is what they're this little showing the Space Force the flying triangles. When that's kind of like 50-year-old technology.
yeah. Well,
I've seen anti-gravity devices, ones that were needed to be bolted down to even being bolted down to the work table couldn't hold them, right? Because it was about the issue was it's never been about floating. That was achieved a long time ago. The issue has been propulsion. How do you move from point A to point B?
right, sure.
And if you're solving that, so a friend of mine had solved that problem, and that's why his device just it couldn't even be. It broke the straps, and the bolts flew right out of the table.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, that'd be some pretty incredible stuff. I look forward to seeing that go live.
Yeah, I have the domain antigravity.com, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'd say you're positioned pretty well.
Yeah, so everyone keeps trying to buy. Every few years, someone tries to make a serious bid to buy that from me, and I said, no, I'm just waiting for the anti-gravity device. And I used to use it. I am selling 3D equipment, animation equipment, desktop video equipment. I had a company that was selling all that kind of equipment. It was from that website. It was actually a magazine ads mostly. 10, 8-10 pages in a magazine, all advertisement. So that's what it would focus on is those selling that product. But I ended up also developing multi-processor rendering image rendering systems. So for creating render farms and things, these would all be sold. So like 24 processors. This is before there was a Pentium processor. They're called the stolen technology. Intel stole the technology from DEC, Digital Equipment Corp, called the Alpha processor, and put it into Pentium. And then there was a big lawsuit about that. So anyway,
Cool stuff.
It goes back anyway. So anyway, I had a very good conversation with Tui. We were talking about how to move things forward in Fiji, and about proof of. I said, if they want proof, that the prime minister just needs to call Trump.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
Pretty easy, right? I'm sure he has his number.
I mean, yeah. Well, at least he can get to the switchboard and say, "Hey, I need to talk to Trump."
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you're the prime minister of Fiji. Like, you got membership has its privileges, right?
Yeah, so he should be able to talk. And if the switchboard doesn't put him through, then this question is why.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was already proof provided, right, according to Tui, to the commercial bank from London. So there really shouldn't be even a need for that. The proof is already there, right?
Yeah.
And then if you have the guys from New Zealand and Australia, they also have proof. And then one thing Fiji definitely has proof of is that they don't have any money, right? So I feel like that pretty much cancels that out. It's like, hey, you know what? I got proof that nothing else is working. You know, what's it going to hurt? You know, what's it going to hurt to try something new? I mean, you're the government of Fiji. Who can get you in trouble if you're the government of Fiji? Like, you know.
Yep, exactly. So the proof is there, but if they're going to go and talk to someone that's in the banking industry, you know, they're the gatekeepers, right? That don't want there to be a change. So you're going to have to, you know, think beyond that, right? You're not going to get it from the central bank. You know, they're sitting there wanting to maintain their position, you know, and they're afraid of change. And one of the other things, as politicians are usually also afraid of change. They like the status quo. They just want to get to the next, you know, push through to the next budget. But the budget's only two more weeks.
Well, the budget's only 2 more weeks. They don't have the money for the budget, and the current status quo is your people are basically starving, right? So you'd think, you know, even an unreasonable bribed politician can see the writing on the wall, especially in Fiji where they've already had 2 military coups in the past 12 years. So, you know, there's got to be some level of like reality sinking in. Like, you know, I think we should run with this because all evidence points to, you know, the status quo is going to get us killed if we don't change something, right?
Yeah, well, it's I'm sure that the military doesn't want people to start starving because they're also part of the people that are starving. You know,
right?
Hey, Dank.
Hey, what's going on, man?
How are you doing, Dank?
Man, I'm good. I'm good. I'm watching watching the world change and come into alignment right in front of me.
Yes, so, indeed.
Excited about that.
So, was I right that the military doesn't want to starve?
Yeah, because they're already in a very dire situation right now, and so they are not getting the funds for their daily exercises, and they're just spending 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours on camp, and they're being returned home because there is no money to even budget for daily exercises and daily routines that they probably do in the camps. So that's the reality right now, and that's the whole reason why they are working with us, because they can feel that there's some truth in what we're doing. But from the high levels, they still think they need proof. I said, yeah, if you need proof, we'll wait for it. We'll crash together. And they are the one will be suffering. The rest of our tribes and all that, we live in the farms and we live in our own land, and we can even live without money for the rest of our life. And for them, they're the one that's the system will break, and that's the reality that can happen to them. I know right now they still think that there will be money coming from somewhere, or though they have some money stashed somewhere out there in what you call the foreign reserve and stuff. That's what they think, because that's what has been told by them, by the central bank. And I said, okay, well, the proof, where's the money right now? It's since January, the people are not getting paid the amount of money that is supposed to be. It's 1.4 billion. In the current budget that was supposed to be 4.6 or 4.8 billion that was allocated last year is lacking 1.4 billion, and that's the reason why we're having all this strike and all these pay cuts and all these people running out of being laid off from their jobs, and now the teachers are just getting $60 or $40 a fortnight, which is not enough, and it's affecting the whole entire economy. So
Well,
uh,
luckily the AIIB, they put up a whopping $35 million. So you needed 5 billion, and the AIIB dropped some big coin there, right? Because they have so much money. No, no, they don't. All you bankers out there, they don't have any damn money. There's no foreign reserve. They have
Well,
nothing.
why did they ask for the 35 million back already? It's only been 2 months.
Because they're broke. They're broke.
they 35 million back because
They're broke. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where they're gonna get that 35 million. It's already gone.
I know. That
It's already
35
gone.
million went to like the coffee and donut, but budget. I mean, come on, that's nothing. Jeez.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
well,
So go ahead. Go ahead, then.
Yeah. So what's the status? I mean, so now, right now, we're waiting on the prime minister to actually put Fiji first,
Yeah.
or is it? I'm just saying, right?
That is funny because
Hey,
the name of
prime
the party is
minister,
Fiji
Fiji
First.
first. That's your party, man. Fiji
Mm.
first. Anybody who tells you different, they have got a different idea. We're with you. Fiji first. Let's go.
Yes. Yes, indeed. No, it's yeah. I just sent email. Like I was telling then that I replied to the email to the New Zealand, the United Kingdom of New Zealand, and I'll wait as soon as they are back here in Fiji. We'll be setting up a. We're working on right now. We're working on a financial institution. We'll try and raise the one and try and get a terminal as soon as we're able. We're getting some finance from outside, and hoping that aligns up in time, where everything will just fit in and work together as it's supposed to be. And so this is a connection I have outside of Fiji. That is part of the financial institution that is based on a local cooperative that used to exist here in the last, in the early 1800s, late 1900s, and then they still have this fund, and it's called the VT Company. So I'm actually waiting for them to hopefully can see the way everything is working right now, and get some funds here to try and set up a bank that will be that we will be able to privatize on, and we can name it whatever we want, and we can get connected straight to the trust with Kim, and of course with Kim and Tank's help, and we're going to work together to create an isolated banking system, a private one here in the Pacific, and working together with the Tank and those alignment that you already done, and then just get it connected, and we'll try and get the connection, a private network of banks all over the planet, and start moving the fund, and enforcing our own securities, and looking at how to secure that ourselves, and then we do that with everyone on board. No, that's one of the most important part of this change. We have to do this with everyone involved. We can't do it alone on our own, because we are fighting against we're already fighting against each other. That's the cabal, and then in order for us to try and fight that, we have to learn to do everything in a united kind of way, and to be able to teach them. If we're able to do that, we'll be able to teach them to change as well, and we can accelerate the change by them understanding that everything has changed. And yeah, that's if we look at it in a very technical way, that's the only problem right now. The cabal still is running on a program that's already been changed, but the change has not reached them yet. So what they need to they need to understand that that everything has changed, the agreement has changed, and all this, and them not recognizing the trust and the change and not recognizing Kim is getting everything stuck. And these are just people, normal people like us who want to do good things for humanity, who thinks that what they're doing is good things or is benefiting everyone. And that's the mindset that needs to be changed through getting them to be aware of what we're doing. So hopefully, what we'll do here in Fiji, we'll be able to prove or tell them or teach them that, and we'll be talking. I'll be traveling. I'll be reaching out to them, to the dragon families, and to that physically, because and they don't. That's my role, to be able to return the sovereignty that's supposed to be there. And so that's we already designed it, and we're gonna first work on a working system already. As soon as we get that system working, we'll be able to set that as a proof and as a way to teach people and to validate what we are teaching. And so, and by then, people will be, all the different countries will become sovereign and fully understand how the banking system works and become private, and they will be able to, regenerate their own countries and all become sovereign together. And so, whatever system they want to run in their country, that will be totally depending on their awareness and the state of awareness that they have. So Fiji, just like what we've talked about in the past, free. That's what we want. We want to be free from the exchange of commerce. Maybe outside of the country, then we'll come up with a system to get it running outside of on how sovereignty from one sovereignty to another, and how it interacts and financially and engage in commerce in that manner. But in inside the country and the livelihood of the people, we will return everything to the natural state of freedom of love. It is, you have to do everything you create a system where all you have to do is work maybe 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day, specifically as a specific talent or a specific task that you have to pray about it. It will balance and it will balance the whole. It will provide for everyone else's needs. And so that's the basic system we already have planned, but it's not. It will be implemented after a few phases of the beginning projects. And so yeah, that's what we do right now. And I know the Aboriginal tribe in Australia and New Zealand and all the rest of the Pacific can see the value in the projects, and that's why they are gearing towards focusing on what we can do here in Fiji. Because before we jump on this show, I was talking to Dan about the spiritual aspect of everything, which is the fundamental and the most important thing that is supposed to be the basic foundation of every system. And it's not been that way for a very long time. And now it's time to get it back and get the fifth element working again. And so you can have so much money. I was telling them about Dubai and about the oil and about all this. They have all the money in the world that they can change the world within seconds, within a day, and make peace and create abundance. But because of the spiritual misalignment, they will perpetuate the physical, imbalances until they are cornered, until the lesson is learned. But we see that in the fighting, in the wars, in the killing of each other, and basically they're still following the old programming. So that's what we're gonna try and change here, and not just speak about it, but actually live it and make it become physically provable that we can do this, and hopefully we can do that to the rest of the Pacific, where they can have their own system of banks, and then ultimately no longer relying on the bank. And because I know as soon as the spiritual growth for every country grows to the level that is in the fifth element, they will be able to they'll be able to manage and understand they'll be able to the current political whatever level of environment that we have in a different places that we live in on the planet. So once we can do that, we can we'll be able to create a new system that free and totally, not reliant on the value of your love of outside, but the love itself is free, and it's not value outside for like an illusion. And every service that you provide or every work that you do will be done out of love, and not you do that because you love things outside of your money and all that, and which is the sign of being sovereign, not letting everything outside of you sovereign. And I'm glad I'm here at this point and here at the beginning of that lesson of that learning, and we will be able to try and let everyone learn together and work together the same way at the same time they're learning. What I meant to the people in New Zealand, and this language and the lesson that it's never been done before. This is the first time it will be done, and we are very grateful to be part of this learning, and we're looking forward to the next step that we can do this and move forward in a very timely and swiftly manner. So that's within hours from now. And I've asked them to actually do another Zoom call, and I would love it to if Dank you would like to join, I will be able to I would want them to make you input and talk about what you've already done and how it can all come together and work as a collective. Um, what's this? Collective. English. Wait.
A movement. We're going to work together.
Yeah,
Collective
movement.
operation.
Collaboration.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So
Sure.
that would. I'm really looking forward to that, and of course, everyone must learn from the kingdom of Manna, trying to isolate Kim in her role, thinking that they can move this forward without her. And that's a lesson that everyone must learn and understand that she is the trustee, and that's her role has can only be completed if we become the beneficiary and we become sovereign. And she won't be able to move funds and all that if we are not in the private. If you're in the public, the administrator is the cabal and the Rothschilds. But if we move to the private, we'll be able to be the administrator and be the beneficiary, and the people will become the beneficiary of the trust. And she will complete her role within a very short period of time, and no more work for Kim. After that, she can distribute the wealth to the rest of the planet easily. Right now, we're just stuck because people are unaware of their own roles, and they don't understand how this structure works. And so I know everyone that has been listening to us, they're talking about it. They, would have a proper understanding by now by how the system works and how the banking system works. Like I said, even our governor general of our Reserve Bank or the central bank got a shock of his life when I started talking to him about all this stuff, and he said that I'm lying. It doesn't work like that. Nobody knows how it works. And so
Wow, that's deep.
Well, here's if they disagree with what we're saying, they should explain. Well, exactly how does it work then?
yeah, the he didn't know how it works. I told him the money is an illusion. It comes from within. You value it. That's why it's existing, and we value it together. That's why it's just like you guys were talking about the super shoulder that you guys were talking about, and that's basically the same thing. The illusion, the different level of frequencies of illusion that exists right now, no one else will be able to free yourself from it. It's just you. As soon as you grow spiritually in awareness and in the fifth element within you, recognizing that it's the true source of this awareness, you will reach the fifth dimension. And every three-dimension illusion or the programmings and all this will be a gift. It will just fade away, and the power of it over you will become, it will be nothing because it will be a gift to you. But before, everyone has to grow spiritually in that manner. And that's the reason why this project that we're doing is gonna focus on that and accelerating that growth. That's I don't know how it's like my gift I don't know how it, it was just my gift to actually accelerate that. And that's what it means to be sovereign and to be in the fifth element. And that's what it means, the fifth dimension way of thinking. Like in the New Age people, they understand, oh, you should be in the fifth dimension. And that's what it means. You focus and you understand that everything is from within you. And even the law of the banking system works the same way. The Ten Commandments works the same way. And that's, the Ten Commandments separated into two. And that's the self, the crown, which is the energy within you, the God self within you. Thou shalt not have any other God before me. And that's the energy within you. Thou shalt not make any graven image that's anything outside of you. The guarantor of deeds. No, you are the guarantor of deed, or God, the awareness within you, the fifth element. You need to remember that. But if you're thinking that God is outside and you're creating all this illusion, you're getting lost in those illusions, then you will be always be in the three dimension, and you will be fighting about doctrines and about the difference in churches and religions, and we'll end up killing each other because of that. And people will never be able to wake up because they're all dreaming and dreaming and dreaming and continue to dream until their reality break loose. And so it's a good thing that the trust has done, even though the old trustee actually shut down all the money once every asset on the planet was binded to the trust. It's a good thing because they know that all this will end up in this way, and people will be able to, it will help people self-aware, self-realize. And so, a lot of people don't understand why the money and the monetary system was created. That's the real reason why it was created. It was created to unite all the three-dimensional illusion, a 3D illusion to become one, which is money, and then take it away, and then everyone is united in the same kind of illusion, and then everyone can wake up the same way. And so that's what we're doing right now. The waking up of for everyone in the same way. That's every country in the world is no money right now, and they're trying to get, well, what we used to value money is our, it's like it's their god. Now it's gone. It's they have the same god all over the planet, and that's what this was an agreement that was done, the Zara agreement, which is part of how to actually teach the souls that were lost. Remember, Dank, Dan, that I talked about how there was a time that in the future, also which is in the past, that there were souls that were lost and the planet were almost destroyed. And all this expression, all this experience that has been going on for these 26,000 years, an accelerated experience, has been to collect all those lost souls. And so the money was created to do this in a very quick manner, and not only getting all the experiences, bad and negative and good experiences, because this has value in the spiritual world from where I come from. When it's lost, all this experience and all the DNA experience of all the souls on the planet has to be gathered somewhere, and that's what was used. And so that's why you have the moon and the sun in this structure, and you have the 12 months in a year, and you have the 7 days in a week, shorter periods of time of cycles that the DNA follows. Before we didn't have this, we had longer. We didn't have to have days in this way, like in Agatha, where long periods of day. We didn't even night. But over here, it's just a cycle that we have to go through in a very quick manner, and which is the moment now experience. And so that's the reason why they created money, to actually be able to gather everyone's illusional value of the spiritual energy outside, and then get together and become one order, and which is we are already having one currency, which is currency. And it's just different values of different countries, and then I can start it out, and then people will be able to revalue and rethink and re-understand who they truly are. And that's the reason why we're doing this at the same moment that that is happening to the planet. So being a crash of economy and the reset of what you call the assets, and all this is it's part of the same thing. And it's like I've been saying, the GCR is actually it's happening. and that's what's actually happening. You are resetting your spiritual, the way you exist in the three-dimensional reality. It's not gonna be, and it's gonna just extend, and it's expressed by what you value in gold and silver and money. And once you that's the kingdom of heaven that everyone is waiting for. And so that global reset is actually happening, but it's not happening the way physically people like, oh, physical money can help us. Need everyone will will be on them getting to revalue the true assets, which is them.
You're not clear.
Not clear.
Now you are. Yeah, you are fading out.
Oh, okay.
You're good now.
Yeah. So very excited, in this period of time that we're in right now, and the experiences that we are doing. Like I said, this is the first time it's gonna be happening. We will see how we're gonna move forward, or if we're able to do that swiftly with everyone, with with Dank, with Kim, with the different other parties that are involved right now. We will be able to do that swiftly. So if this privatization works, and we will see how it works, and if there's another way, like we were talking about it, if that can happen, it will be good. But yeah, you should mention that as well, Dan. It's a good idea to actually do that, and to talk about how the blockchain algorithm can help in this, and so. And it's a very good probability to do that.
Way to bypass, banks and government, because it just is something that's out on the internet, right? And you're able to move the virtual money around.
Yeah.
If there's ultimately a problem, that's the way I looked at cryptocurrencies from the beginning, is that it bypassed the problems with creating our own economies and things like that. So I put a lot of effort into trying to work that out. Spent the time in Kringle Society to try and break this, and because it does as a technology.
I think there's a lot of people out there that still don't understand how the blockchain algorithm works, and they have in fear that it's still it's something like somebody it's controlled by someone. And no, that's
yeah, it's just a database with encryption of the location of the data. That's all it is. So
some of them might be asking, so the whole system, is it does it belong to anyone? Does it can anyone control it, or is it does something that happened in Canada? Somebody maybe all the money, about how many hundreds of millions, that's just because only one person can access it within a laptop, and people lost millions of dollars.
If you leave your computer in an open place and you have your bank account is there, right? And so we'll leave it in a coffee shop. It's open to your bank account. Someone can go up to your computer, sit down, and move your funds. If you're right, you leave it like that, and then anything can happen. But yeah, but that's the same if the bank left the doors unlocked at night and the vault open.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
that's the reason why Fiji will free. that's our aim, and that's what we're gonna do. And so progression is always it's always open. We are always open-minded in progression, because there's a lot of lesson that can be learned along the way, and make sure it's not repeated in the future. So if you want to learn it now, you can learn it now. And I guess that's I'm waiting on everyone's and their role and what they understand. I just got a message from Australia, which is a very good one. And so anyways, that's it for me for now. Much love and blessing to everyone. Thank you so much, everyone that's joining the show, listening in live. All you guys in the chat room, much love and blessing to you from Fiji. Peace and take it easy.
All right,
Thanks,
later, dude.
thanks, thanks. Hey, I've got a couple questions. People in the chat room. Handsome
Oh, yes.
Scott is asking Tank if you could update us regarding the Pentagon military with arrest of bankers for stopping the transfers.
I cannot. I can't. I have updates. I cannot update anything on that. It's operational, so I'm sorry. Can't talk about that right now.
Okay,
And
strike the question. Never said it. So there. Anyway, that's one question. Someone else just mentioned Deutsche Bank is to lay off 25,000 employees soon. So I don't know.
Wow.
If that's true. I don't know how many employees they have. So I don't know if that's half their force or if that's every.
it's pretty significant regardless. I mean, it doesn't matter. 25,000 people unemployed. One thing that you have two major economic strikes where you are absolutely going to need a massive influx of money to come into the system right now in a different form, manifested as projects in whatever that means, because you're about to have incredible layoffs in the pharmaceutical industry. For anybody who doesn't know, in the pharmaceutical industry, they are a bank. Think about it. You have insurance. Insurance dictates what prescriptions you buy, right? Because that's all whatever's covered. Now, in the United States, our prescriptions have been around, somewhere between like 500 to 1,000% more than every place else, right? All the money that is made is here in the United States. Trump just equalized that cash cow by forcing them to do business fairly.
Right. Yeah, that's a major event.
Now that means their profit margin. I mean, if it was at 30%, it's about to go down to 5%. So that is a massive blow. I mean, that decision, as far as if you were just to judge Trump based on the economy, would be economic suicide. He made that decision for the people. No one, as far as I'm concerned, can ever question Trump's ethics ever again after making that decision, because that is a people-based decision.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he just lowered everybody's cost, and everyone's so addicted to pharmaceuticals. Everyone's they're always forcing a drug war out there, but it's really the pharmaceuticals is where we have all the problems.
And then
hello. Hello. Everyone was muted. Tank is muted. Tui is muted. All we're talking about is pharmaceutical drugs being overpriced, as they have no money elsewhere in the world, so they have to raise up all the prices here, and now it's been equalized. And well, I do not know if they were knocked off.
I'm here.
Okay. Well, you're here, and Tank is gone. It's all right. Well, we can. I guess in discussing cryptocurrency for any country, including Fiji, it's a way to bypass, all the problems of putting things into place legally, because it's not. It can be owned by nobody, or it could be owned by everybody. It's basically an agreement. We can create the reality of a cryptocurrency for any country, having some way of it's a way of distributing money to people instantly, or relatively, very fast. You don't have to go to a bank. All you have to do is have a cell phone that's connected to the internet.
Yes. Sorry. No, I just got a message from Australia, and
Okay.
they discuss it online, so it's good. No, they just one of the project owners, that has been approved by the trust and change. He's just contacted me, and just he was just saying, if what if I submit a nation building project to the Prime Minister in Fiji as a third party entity, that being 360, the name of the company is 360 Global Impact. And when he asked me about the funding or where it's coming from or how we can do it, I will say, well, you need to talk to TUI because all of this is part of the same thing. So basically, evidence from the third party outside of you and your local team to stimulate his thinking. And so that should be good. I said to him, yes, indeed, we should do that.
Yeah, the project funding is there, being pushed out in many forms. Eventually, it's going to make it through to everyone. Is all of a sudden everyone's project is being funded, and it's all made its way through, and then everyone say, well, what about me? What about me? That's
Yeah.
they catch up.
Yeah, I guess that's why it's very important for the what we are gonna do now to try and help the trust to try and organize a way to run outside of the system or outside of the cabal, and then try to transfer fund and create banks so that we can just escalate that, and it just comes down by itself, and then everyone just realizes that this is how it's so easy to do. It's fun is out there. The whole system has changed, and we can do this and create a new way of how to actually do it. So because that's the funny thing about it, the new system we have to create. It's not gonna create itself. It's not gonna it's not there. So that's why it's totally new, and it's hard to convince people because it's totally something totally different. It's not the way they used to think that that's how it's supposed to be in the past. And that's why they just told me, so what do you have? Can you prove? Can they send just about $50,000 to prove that they have the money? I said no. It's not going. It's not working. It's not going to be like that. It's the whole system has changed. The only proof, if you wait, you will crash our economy. That's the only proof. So the people that used to borrow money before from the banks and the financial institution of the world, they can't give you money because they don't have it. And so
They don't have it because it was registered to the trust and all assets, and they are not able to pull down from the trust as they used to because it's a new trustee.
yeah, they have the banking system, which is not theirs. It belongs to the trust, but they control it because they are all over the world. They control the banking system, but they don't have funds.
Yeah, but
to
they've lost
transfer to move.
control. They don't have control over the systems anymore. They only have control over the people, and they call the people and say, "Hey, the money is there. Don't let that flow." Well, why do they have to use a phone call? Why don't they stop it in the system? Why don't they stop it in the computer? All right, because they.
Yeah. So what we're doing right now, we're just gonna help Kim try to go past that. It's quite hard to do it in the US, as everyone has witnessed, and if it can be done in the US, it already funding already been gone through right now. But we have to. Thomas was talking about Brazil and the hospital in Brazil that they're trying to build a very advanced technologically hospital that can help people cure cancer. And they were just about to transfer $10 billion, and then the call came up to maybe to the governor, and no fund. They can't accept it because there's some personal agreements on the way to, and it stops the whole That's how this thing can impact people. Just one person can disallow the good things to happen to humanity
Right.
just by not understanding.
Yeah, they can't cure cancer because that means it's the end of all of that industry that is all making them money. Who are sick, they have to keep getting medicines, they have to go through the treatments, and it's all very expensive. And that whole industry would just die if it was all switched over to everyone can get cured. Cures have been available for so long, but they don't allow them to come through. Anything that is everything has to be expensive. Everything has to go through them, and you have to remove all the money that you have and give it to them, so that you can, fall in line with their system that keeps you alive a little bit longer, but not healthy. Yeah, it's really a ridiculous reality that they've created for everybody. Let's stop participating in the madness that they've created. So that means the people that are in charge of countries, they have to realize that they can make the difference. So the prime minister in Fiji, he can make the difference. He can stop the madness right away and accept the asset that is truly for Fiji. And accept that this is now ready for everybody.
Oh, 20,000 people from Citibank. That's
I didn't hear you too. You just said something about Citibank. Say again.
quite a lot.
You broke up.
20 people from 20,000 employees from Citibank laid off.
Oh, you mean Deutsche Bank?
Thomas said.
Deutsche Bank.
No, Citibank.
Oh, Citibank. They also laid off. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, these are the major banks. These are what they call the collateral account banks. So Citibank being one of them. Deutsche Bank holds up all of the EU. So yeah, they're laying off because they have no money. Why don't they have? Why don't they have any money? They can't take. They can't. They're not able to pull it down as they were because they're no longer trustees. There's only one trustee. There used to be, I think it was 600 trustees. Now there's one. So all these individuals are no longer able to pull it down.
And that is Miss Kimberly and Goguen.
Yes.
And
if you want
you must
to the terminal and look it up. But don't ask anyone. You go to the terminal. You look it up. If you ask someone, the person that's going to go look it up for you is going to lie to you because they're paid to do so.
Or you can just create one of your own and set up a banking, a financial institution and get a terminal on your own and try and set it up.
It's not so easy to get the terminal. Because the people that are in control of making the terminals, they also get the phone call. Hey, don't send them a terminal. There was a terminal going to Kim, but General Kelly basically stopped it.
That was close.
Say again?
No, I mean, that was close.
That was close.
I mean, we could have been, we could have been sending money all over the planet.
Yeah. It would have been simple then. But they just can't have lose control. They want to call her rogue, label her as rogue, meaning she's not going along with them, which is the good thing, right? We want her to be rogue. We don't want her to follow their agenda, right? Which was not a good agenda for the planet. Killing off 90% of the people. How is that a good agenda? The lies are all about keeping them in power. That's why there's too many people for them to control. They want to bring it back. So just don't participate in their madness anymore. Let's create a system.
This works like it works just like 9 oil. M. Carlson just mentioned that there's 91,737 employees in the Dutch bank system worldwide. That's 91,000, almost 100,000 people. 91,787. That's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So I think how many thousands were just laid off.
Yeah, it's a big percentage.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it probably will start another layoff and another layoff.
Yeah, it's just gonna be like in Fiji if we don't do this, and people will just fed up and then they will react and there can be a revolution if that happens. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
well, yeah. So the prime minister should not wait. He should just go immediately to get the proof he needs to the terminal. The prime minister has to go.
Just call Trump. If he wants immediate.
That's
call
the
Trump.
Call Trump. Of course, he'll have to insist.
Yes.
He may have to fly to Trump. Go into the White House. Say, I'm the Prime Minister of Fiji. I'm here to speak.
I'm here to ask you a question about Kim. Yeah. That would be really good. Yeah.
I said, yeah. So because you're asking a message about Kim.
Yes. Yeah. So that would be a good one if Dale is listening in. Yes, Dale. Please, if you can send a proposal to the PM and and can be a third party what you call this evidence or a proof, and we'll be able to we can that's how we work together, and that's how we can create this reality together as well, because it's a totally new way of doing things, and that's we'll see, and we'll ask him to just call Trump, don't call him out, just call directly to Trump, and you'll see that the trust has been funding the U.S. government for all this past all the time that he's been in president, and you will see that and Kim has paid all the debts and all the debts for all these different countries like China and all these debts that was owed to all these big countries and to the Federal Reserve and to this, and Kim has paid.
The funny thing is when she pays all these debts off, she's the one collecting the money.
Yeah, she just like forgive all the debts.
Yeah, yes. Well, it's in essence forgiving. Well, by act of, well, it's a little bit different than forgiving because it's an accounting issue, right? You're basically zeroing out because the money came in to pay it off, but it goes back to who gave the money. So literally, it pays off debt. This is part of the illusion that there is about the economies, right?
This is actually what we were talking about yesterday about the crown and how you own the debt because you are the creditor, and that's what in a very wide and broad sense that it's what Kim did. Because right now she's the main sovereign, and she just used that sovereignty to own the debt or to it's very hard to wait. How can I say that? You become, because you are you own or not own, you own the debt. No. I have the
creditor.
The
creditor. Yeah. And she's if it's easier to think of it of two different companies, and the owner of both companies is another company that's owned by
yes
that's companies. This one owes this one, and then, so Kim up here says, okay, you pay this one, right? But the money went back up to Kim.
Yeah, that's it. That's all.
It's an issue, but the money is still in the hands of the trust either way, because that's where all the assets are. So there's cash. Yeah. There's cash deposits in the trust. There's assets in the trust. So there's money to move, and there's the Fiji's money is sitting in an account with their name on it already. sitting there.
Yes, I hope this message goes up to them and they can rethink about. And because it's like I said in the last show, this is not a debt base or a loan. It's the money that it's not a loan. It is your money. It's a sign of your sovereignty that the trust has to express when her role I mean, as a trustee to be able to return sovereignty to the country or to the people. That is, it's not a loan. It's it's yours. You are the creator, and that's you've been given the chance to express that creation and that power, and that's what this is. But like I said, a lot of people won't be able to believe it. Triangulation. That's what we're gonna do. Strategically triangulate the. That's what we'll do.
Well, they better make a decision quick because they've only got 2 weeks.
Yeah.
How do they do it?
But I know everything. I know everything will change within a few days. I know everything will change within and a lot of people will be able to do that, to be able to understand their role. And so, anyways, I just want to be here, and I just want to thank everyone in the live chat. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Diana, Copen, Galen, Louis. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you so much, Laura, Mark, Rustring, Robert. Thank you. There's somebody else. Terry, thank you, Terry. Thank you, everyone. On the live chat. Thank you so much for being with us today. And much love and blessing from here in the Pacific, wherever you are in the world. It's already time that we're gonna do this and free ourselves together. And you being here, it's such a blessing, and much love to you. Peace.
Yes, thanks, Dewey. Thanks, everyone in the chat room, and thanks to Tank. Sorry he didn't make it back on. And please subscribe, pass out the links. And Prime Minister of Fiji, call Trump. All right.
Thank you, Nate. Aloha.
Aloha.
Mahalo. Right. Mahalo for everything. Mahalo for being with us today.
Bye.